Hey everyone, it's Charlotte from the Kia Hyundai channel, and today we are taking a look at the 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive. So this isn't just the front-wheel drive model, it is the all-wheel drive, and I think that you guys will be really impressed with the tech and safety features that you get in this vehicle. For it being more of a base model vehicle, there certainly is lots of safety features, lots of tech features that you get in this package with the upgraded all-wheel drive as well. So stay tuned, I think you're really going to enjoy it. And to start off, what we're going to be taking a look at is we're going to take a look at what type of hardware this vehicle is packing under the hood. We'll do our exterior walk around, interior review, and then take a look at the back seat as well. So let's get into it. All right, so it's just me filming today. I don't have Gabby, my wonderful second half, to help me film. So what I have done is I will be speaking from behind the camera and trying to show and point out the best that I can. But for starters, on the Seltos, what I've done is I've popped the hood because I know a lot of people actually do like getting an overview of what's under the hood. That way we can see what type of hardware we are packing, of course. So in the Seltos, you do have a 2-liter MPI multi-point injection engine. If you don't know what MPI stands for, there you go. And now I usually talk about the transmission at this time too. Obviously that's not something that can be seen under the hood, but we do have an IVT, also known as a CVT transmission, if you know it that way. Just stands for Intelligent Variable Transmission. And what type of output that gives us is we do have 146 for our horsepower, and then you also get 132 pound-feet of torque in this vehicle, and that is with the all-wheel drive system, which we do get. This is the all-wheel drive model. It's not just the LX front-wheel drive. And then for fuel economy as well, I actually drove a Seltos all-wheel drive for, I want to say, a little bit over a year as my demo, and I found that it was really good for my lifestyle. I'd roughly filled up every 2 weeks or so, and I do a fair bit of in-city driving. I live and work in town, but my husband, he would occasionally take my car. He does a fair bit of highway driving as he works out of town, and again, we didn't really find that it put a lot of changes in our refilling schedule, if you will. So for city, you do have 8.8 per 100 kilometers. We do live in Canada, so we do use 100 kilometers as our metric. If you live in the States, it'll probably be miles per gallon, so you may have to do a little bit of a quick conversion there. And then when you take a look at the highway specs, it is 7.6. So that is, again, for the all-wheel drive system. I'll do another little overview over the hood, and then I will close it, and we'll continue on with the exterior. All right, so I just put the hood down and I turned on the lights, that way I can show them to you guys. If you see a little bit of flickering on camera, it's not actually like that in real life, it's just because it is an LED unit, and that can be sometimes hard to film on camera. I promise it's not actually a disco party car, which it may look like on camera. But when it comes to lighting, this is where we're gonna start to dip into our safety and tech features. You do have LED daytime running lights and also positioning lights, which is what's gonna be flickering. Your headlights and your fog lights, they are just going to be bulbs on this vehicle. You would have to move up to the EX or the EX Premium if you wanted the full LED headlight experience. But when it comes to styling on this vehicle, we don't have a lot going on, but in a good way. You know that saying, you know, where it's like less is more? That's true in this situation. I love the Seltos. It's actually one of my favorite cars. I've demoed it time and time again, and I always go back to enjoying it because of how it looks, and then also because of how it drives. So focusing on some of the styling elements on the front, obviously we're gonna have our new Kia logo. This is not a pearlescent paint, so we're not gonna get that same sheen that we have shown in our other videos. If that is really important to you, getting a nice pearly color, lots of light being reflected off of it, you definitely can do pearl paint. This is just the one we have on the lot right now. So for the grille, let's start off by looking at what's surrounding it. Is we have this nice textured chrome piece. It is a lighter chrome, and it looks gorgeous. Like, it actually is textured too. It doesn't just look like that. And I always think that the texture on things gives a nice added touch. So that looks beautiful. We have our jagged type grille. I've never found it difficult to clean personally, but sometimes people can say, but because these are a little bit wider, it's pretty easy just going with a rag and wipe it off individually if you need to, or just all in one go, one foul swoop, if you will. So that looks really nice on the front. I definitely enjoy that. You do get a silver skid plate on the front, also on the rear too, which I'll show in a little bit. And as we come around the vehicle, let's take a look at the tires. You do have amber signal lights. I tried to use my foot to point, and I really need to stop doing that because one of these days I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna slip on the floor. And then with the all-wheel drive, when you change from the LX front-wheel drive to the all-wheel drive system, you do go up a wheel size. So these are actually 17 inches. They are a beautiful rim here. It's that nice kind of matte finish gray. I think this looks really good, especially with the lighter silver accents, the lighter chrome accents on the front grille. It doesn't seem like too much because they're within the same color family. They're still gray, but it still gives, you know, a little bit more depth. And then also it has this really fun starfish pattern. I'm always a fan of that. You do have your all-wheel drive badging because this isn't just front-wheel drive, it is all-wheel drive system. And then you also have body-colored side mirrors. You do have a signal repeater, amber signal repeater. And then I'll show you our first little bit of safety or tech feature. And that's going to be your blind spot monitoring system. So I'm just trying to get the camera to focus on it. I'm not too sure if you can see that, but there's a car and then there's half a car. So when someone is in your blind spot, this will actually be illuminated. Typically it's an orange color or a red color, and that's gonna be a visual reminder that there is someone in your blind spot. The car will also beep at you as well. And then I'm gonna take a step back. You can see we do have some matte black splash guards. It is very bright outside today, and I'm trying to the best of my abilities to make sure that it's not too bright while I'm filming, but this gives you a nice overview of the vehicle. We obviously have your roof racks up at the top. That is standard for the Seltos. We've seen that before. Privacy rear tinted mirrors on the back. So those are already tinted for you from the factory. How nice is that? And then we'll do another walk around. On the back, a little bit more styling. You do have this nice rear spoiler, your rear wiper blade. Sometimes when vehicles have a spoiler that's this shape where it offsets some of the rain, manufacturers don't include a rear wiper, which I've got to say is one of my pet peeves. I love having a rear wiper on whatever vehicle I'm driving. It doesn't matter what it is, because no matter what, there's always going to be some form of condensation. There's always going to be something on the vehicle that I want to get off quickly. So let me know if you think that too. Do you like having a rear wiper on your vehicles, or are you really impartial? Does it not really matter to you? On the bottom here, I'll show you that skid plate I mentioned on the bottom. I'm not going to make the mistake and point with my foot this time, just going to point with my hand. And then we will open up the tailgate as well. We can take a look at the cargo space. We don't have a power lift tailgate on this vehicle, but the nice thing is it is hydraulic. So even though it doesn't go up automatically at the press of the button, it is very easy. I mean, you guys saw me do that. I barely had to do any work in lifting it up. Really, I'm just pressing it and gently guiding it upwards. So easy to do, especially if you have your hands full with groceries. We got some mats in here. I'm gonna take those out for the purpose of this and showing the cargo space. So back here, you got tons and tons of space. Usually either myself or Gabby will hop into the trunk. We try to, but I'm behind the camera, so I'm not too sure how I'll be able to make that happen. And Gabby's not here right now, so definitely not going to be able to make that happen. But as far as what we have back here, we do have some lights, so if you're loading up late in the day or early in the morning, you can still see what's in your trunk. Nothing's going to get lost or go missing. Cargo net hooks, all of that nice, good stuff. And then underneath, you actually do have a real, not rear, spare tire, which is really nice to have. One of my biggest fears is being in a pinch where I don't have a rear spare tire, but the other benefit is that Kia does come with 5 years of roadside assistance, so I will reap that benefit as long as I can, that is for sure. So that's really going to conclude the exterior walk around, so I will meet you guys inside. All right, so I'm in the driver's seat now, which is arguably the best seat in the house. I did have to take the camera off of what we call our gimbal. It's a steady cam because it was not holding frame. It was watching it, let's be real, I was getting all types of motion sickness. So that's not fun for anybody involved. So I do have the driver's door open right now just to show you guys the overview of what you kind of see from the driver's perspective. So to start off, I think the biggest thing that catches my eye is going to be your speakers. So down on the bottom, up on the top. So these have a really cool design to them, not just like the actual speaker design, but also in how they're playing with some of the dimension. You know, it actually does feel like there is different elements of, I want to say topography, but I know that that is the wrong word. I know that's a geography term, and I know I learned that in grade 9. So hopefully you guys just know what I mean when I say that. And then of course you do have your door handles here. They do carry along this kind of matte trim to the side as well. And then over here, I'm going to close the door to hopefully get a bit of a better vantage point. You've got your mirror controls, so if you want to adjust them, you just press these buttons here to do up, down, side to side, and then also if you want to switch between your left and right mirror. You do have an express window on the drivers. I do like that they do have it for the drivers. I wish that it's always going to be all 4 windows, because I just find that it's super useful, especially as a driver, to have all of the controls if needed. That way, if there's a distraction, you have the power yourself to stop it. And then also lock and unlock, nothing too crazy there. Little pocket down at the bottom if you need to store some stuff, put your water bottle, all that good stuff. And then to the side, this is going to be your brightness if you want to increase it or decrease it for your dash, which I'll show and go into more detail about. Also your idle stop and go. So if you want to disable and turn off your idle stop and go, what this does is when the vehicle is stopped, pretty much it's going to temporarily shut off the engine. Then when you take your foot off the brake, it's going to start it up again. Some people love it or hate it. That's why there is always the option to turn it off. Because I know sometimes it can be frustrating if you have a little bit of a delay, especially if you're on a hill, just with the cold cranking amps there. And then also if you want to disable traction control, you have the power to do so as well. Like I said, the driver should always have all the power, right? Taking a look at the steering wheel, on this side we are going to have what I like to call our speaking or our convenience controls, and then on the other side is more of our driving controls. So what do we see? You have the power to pick up a call, decline a call, increase the volume or decrease the volume for the radio controls, change the channels with this button, or cycle between various different media modes, which is what the mode button does, and then also kind of your virtual assistant from whoever your phone is as well. And then also, now we're going to move into our driving control. So obviously your cruise control, where you're able to start it and set it. This is where you're going to be if you want to restart it or reset your cruise control as well. And then also you just, pretty much hit OK when you have your controls. This little item that looks like a notepad, we'll get into that because that's going to go immediately with our dash. So you do have the analog cluster for your fuel gauge and then also your tachometer. And then we have the 3.5 screen in the middle. So when I press that notepad button, hopefully you can see and it's not too bright, you'll probably see some flickering from the dash. I'm going to try to avoid that the best I can. And we'll go through what we see. So for safety features, this vehicle is equipped with TPMS sensors. You do have to drive in order to see the tire pressure. And then because it is an all-wheel drive system, this is going to show kind of the distribution where the power is coming from in the vehicle. To the next section, this is going to be your user settings. So driver's assistance, let's click on that. This is again going to be some of your more safety features. So warning time, you have the power to make it normal or late. If you want it to be delayed, you want the beep to come a little bit later. Blind spot safety, I already talked about when we were going in through the monitors. You do have the ability to put it on warning only, where it's going to give you that beep, or you can turn it off as well. Parking safety, this vehicle is equipped with rear cross traffic safety. And that's going to be at the end of that one. We'll go to convenience, because this is going to show some more of our safety features too. So rear occupant alert. So if the vehicle senses that there is something left in the back seat of the vehicle, whether it be a purse, whether it be a cell phone, whether it be your groceries, which I have done before, it's actually going to give you an alert on this screen to say, check rear seats. Sometimes I've had people say that when this has come up, they thought that it was because, their seats weren't latched properly or something like that. but it just is the rear occupant alert, just saying that, hey, there's something there. You better check your seat before you get out of the car. Otherwise, you know, you're going to make the mistake like Charlotte, who leaves her chicken in this car and then comes in the next day with gross, disgusting chicken. So don't be like me. Don't make that mistake. This feature is going to help you avoid it. Wiper lights display, auto rear wiper. Nothing too crazy there. Icy road warning, so that's if it's the temperatures where ice can form, it's going to give you alert just to drive with caution. Kia Seltos always looking out for you. Service interval, so this is if you want to, if you've just had your oil changed, if you want to enable the service interval or disable it or adjust the interval, depending on how often you get your oil changed, you can do that through there. Other. So if you want to reset your fuel economy, I'll show that screen in just a couple seconds. I'll move there next. And then a lot of the common questions we get or we have people pop into the dealership for is how can they adjust their metrics. So if you're driving in the States, you can do it for miles per hour. Fuel economy, again, liters, kilometers per liter, liter per 100 kilometers there is obviously enabled. And then temperature, Celsius or Fahrenheit. And then also your tire pressure metric as well. So I'll show that screen. So here's your fuel economy. This is a test drive vehicle, meaning that a lot of different people are driving it. A lot of people are driving it in different ways. It hasn't had one consistent driver or two consistent drivers. So how it's showing isn't necessarily going to be the fuel economy that this vehicle is going to be equipped with. And this will change depending on driving styles as well. So that is something I always like to make a note of. But if you do want to reset it, you can do it in that settings screen, which we were just at. Accumulated trip info. I like this because it's kind of like the at-a-glance specs for your vehicle. You know, how long has this vehicle been driven for? What's the, you know, your fuel economy is there, and also the time it's been driven for. This is the drive info for the specific types of drives that you're doing, and then also you have an electronic speedometer, which I pretty much always have mine set to. I love the electronic speedometer. It's so easy. This vehicle is also equipped with not one, not two, but 3 different drive modes. So how cool is that, that this is one of the beginning models of the LX all-wheel drive, and it still has drive modes. Woohoo! We love that. So it is equipped with Sport, Normal, and then also Smart mode. I pretty much always keep my vehicle in Smart just because I do want to have the best driving experience, want to get the best fuel economy out of my vehicle. And the way that you can cycle through those drive modes is through this knob here. You just turn it. It's really easy, nice and easy. And we'll get back onto the dash too. I think that's going to cover everything there. Yeah, so that's going to cover our screen. Now we'll move to the side. This vehicle, you do actually have to put the key in the ignition. You do not get the button press yet, as of yet. And then we'll take a look at our infotainment system. So this is the 8-inch screen. You do have radio, your different media modes as well, and this star button you have the ability to set as a favorites button. So say you're like, I want when I press this to immediately take me to Bluetooth, then you can set it up that way, which is not a problem. And then on the other side, seek, track, setup, everything like that. This vehicle is equipped, of course, don't need to set up my phone right now. This vehicle is equipped with Apple CarPlay, which is really nice. So I'll show that down here too. So you have a USB in the center, so that is for connectivity, which is really nice. So you can set up Apple CarPlay. You also have a 12 volt, and then also a USB for fast charging as well. So drivers and passengers, they both have room to charge their phones, which is super nice. You have a little shelf here too. And then we'll take a look at our climate control. So you have dials. So this is, you're obviously able to set if you want it colder or warmer, air conditioning, and then also your fan speed and recirculated air button. If you want to turn that on or off, you just simply press it and then you turn to adjust. Rear defrost as well, and then also kind of where you want your air to be going. If you just want it on your feet, defrost enabled, all of that good stuff. Down at the bottom, you of course have your gear shift, just a simple lever gear shift. Nothing too crazy going on. Heated seats for both the driver and passenger. And then also your downhill assist, which you can enable. We'll take a look at the seats too. Oh my goodness, that is so bright outside. We do get cloth seats in this vehicle. They are very comfy. I do find the material to be pretty durable. Personally, I haven't had any problems with it when it comes to having a cloth seat. You do have a parking brake lever, 2 cup holders, and then we can actually take a look in the console. I'll be honest, nothing too special about it. It's kind of on the smaller side too, but it is fairly deep. It's about the depth of my hand. So you could still fit, phone, stuff like that. If you left it open, you could probably fit a water bottle in there too. I know that's probably not super comfortable, but if you just need a place to set it for a quick couple of minutes, you can make do with it. As silly as that sounds. And that is going to conclude kind of the cabin area, the driver's side. I'll give an overview of this vehicle and we'll hop into the back seat now. All right, so last stop on the 2023 Kia Seltos World Tour is going to be the back seat. So we'll start off by taking a look at the door. So it's almost identical to the driver's side door. Obviously you don't have mirror controls because you don't need that, or all of the window controls, but you still do have the nice detailing elements. Like I said, this trim piece here, you still have all of the dimension on the speakers and a nice convenience pocket for you as well. Still cloth seats in the back. It is a 5-seater vehicle. So obviously 2 in the front and then 3 here in the back. I'll give an overview. Nice, looks good. Not really too much to show back here. We don't have too many tech elements in the back. And overview, we'll head back up to the front of the vehicle. All right, everyone, so that is going to wrap up our 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive world tour. And you guys will see that this vehicle definitely packs the tech and safety punch that I've been talking about nonstop this entire video. So hopefully you learned something new about this vehicle. And if you have any questions about it, I am going to have a link in the description box below for you to reach out to a sales associate if you're interested, or if you just have questions. As always, we are a real dealership here located in Brantford, Ontario. So if you have any general questions about the vehicles that we have, Kias or Hyundais in general, make sure that you reach out as well. And as always, like this video, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.